Everybody, it's Patty Reinhardt. I don't have some fancy way to record this, so I'm just using my phone. We were asked to pick a policy-related media coverage, and what I picked was when Governor Rick Scott of Alabama put some gun laws into effect after the Florida school shooting. What he signed into law, a few of the things were to raise the minimum age to 21 to be able to get a gun, extending the wait for 3 days. He also added more funds for school resource officers, which are school police officers that are in the schools. He also asked for more mental health services. He broadened the law enforcement's power to seize weapons. He also enacted a law within this law for certain staff members to be able to carry at school, not just police officers. What's interesting about this, and the reason I picked it, is that he is an active member of the NRA. He's actually what they call an A+ member, which means he's top-notch member. A lot of, and of course this goes back to government and, you know, are you red, are you blue? You know, the Republicans are, so people say, yeehaw cowboys, Second Amendment rules, we want guns, and the Democrats, as people say, are the ones who don't believe in guns, who think that guns aren't the way to go. And I just thought this was interesting because this is a cowboy quote enacting some of the most serious gun laws that we've had recently. And I believe it's because it hit close to home. It hit his state. The child that shot this school up, you know, that was a Florida kid, and the governor realized that this is real. This isn't just in California or like Columbine that happened in Colorado. This is his home state. There was a lawsuit. The NRA did file a lawsuit because they felt that keeping the minimum age of 21 and up is a blanketed statement, and that affects Second Amendment rights negatively. But that's not the point of what we're talking about today. Some information that I had on the policy is I think it's great to offer other staff, not just a police officer, to be able to carry. That puts the responsibility on that staff member. But I think that's important because, you know, just like in schools here in Limestone County, we have one school resource officer per school. Well, what's one person going to do in a situation to be able to take care of everyone? So I felt like that was a great step forward. I think definitely one of the most important parts is mental health services, because Marco Rubio, he was going to run for president years ago. He's a Republican. Everybody hold your horses. Pun intended. He stood up after this Florida incident and said that he's not saying that don't put gun laws in effect. He's not saying, woohoo, Second Amendment, everybody needs a gun, poo, 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 poo. He's saying that putting laws in is not enough. And he's right. Think about it. Drugs are illegal. Heroin is illegal. Meth is illegal. Cocaine is illegal. I can go on. And these drugs are everywhere. They are in our families. They are in our communities. They are in our school systems. And that's kind of what Marco Rubio was saying in his video. You know, do something that works. He's not saying give up. He's saying, you know, let's think of this broad. And he went on to explain some of the history of the mass shootings For instance, the shooting at the Texas church, that man had domestic violence charges. He attempted to kill his I don't know if she was ex-wife, his wife. Another example is the Air Force Base. The man had left a mental health facility. So they knew he had mental health issues, and he left the facility. Another example is Sandy Hook. The guy that did Sandy Hook. I'm not mentioning their names on purpose because they don't deserve to be recognized. The Sandy Hook incident, he isolated himself. He spoke to no one. He completely took everyone out of his life except for his mom, and then he killed his mom. So what Marco Rubio is explaining, as with Governor Rick Scott from this media coverage, is that, keeping these guns away from people isn't enough. You have to look at their history. You have to look at mental health, because every instance, there's a mental health breakdown which causes this. And he was also explaining that, there's not a magic law that's going to make this go away. There's black markets. There's ways to get guns. You cannot say, an assault rifle is illegal and expect it to be solved. It's not. Assault rifles are already out there, and they're not going to just hand them over. Here, mister, you said these were wrong. Take it. That's not happening. And what I liked about Marco Rubio's statement is he was talking about, the Second Amendment. That's the Second Amendment. It's pretty high up there, and it's pretty important. But at the same time, what comes before that is the preamble. And in the preamble, he said that there's 2 reasons: for the government to ensure domestic tranquility and to promote general welfare. And he said these scenarios of mass shootings are not following ensuring domestic tranquility and promoting general welfare. And that's what he was saying is we have to find something that works. I think it's important to be proactive instead of reactive, and I think that's what the media ends up doing. They focus on the shooting, and then they focus on it for a few days, and usually within a week or two, it dies down, and that doesn't get a whole lot accomplished. And so, going back to Governor Rick Scott, he put a lot of emphasis right when that Florida shooting happened. He put gun laws in effect, and I just wanted to say, on the other side of that, I think we as social workers can focus on that proactive side. Find out with our families where they're broken and help them mend that, so they don't get to a point where they feel like shooting an area up is the only answer. All these scenarios, you have a lot of people that come forward after the shooting happens and says, you know what, I'm not surprised that they did that because A, B, C, D. That's really important for people in social work to understand, that these people are calling out. They are crying out. They want help. They weren't born and as infants said, I want to kill tons of people. They didn't say that. On down their line of their life, there was brokenness that never got healed. And as social workers, that's where we come in, and we can provide services to improve their thought processes, to improve their isolation, to improve all the reasons that these people feel the need for this. There's a Advanced Peace in Richmond that showed a 70% decline in these scenarios. And Advanced Peace is just, let's talk this out. Let's get better. What can we do to help you? And I just think that's important. And so that's all I have to say. I hope y'all have a good evening. Thank you.